Okay, we're going to start on the wiring in our Runaway camper. The last time I was talking to you, we had talked about me changing what I was going to put the wiring in. One of the guys at work told me, he says, "Hey, why don't you use a piece of wood and just, that piece of wood." So hey, you know what? I thought that piece of wood that we put around that trim board we put around that fan. It's about 1.5 inches wide and about 3/4 of an inch thick. And I thought maybe I could take my router table and just cut a groove in this thing so that wire will stay up inside this. I could countersink some holes in this thing, cut my 45s. I can do everything I need to do and put this wire inside there, and I think it would look better. Now the plastic, I didn't know how I was going to mount it up there because you know what? It had a sticky, like a two-sided sticky tape. And the ceiling is made out. It's got that carpet on it. So I didn't want to get rid of the carpet. So we're going to use a piece of wood as a housing for our wiring, and I'm pretty sure it's going to look okay. So let's see what it turns out like. All right. So I told you this piece of wood was 1.5 inches. I bought it at Lowe's. It's 1.5 inches wide and it's 3/4 of an inch deep. So I'm going to cut my groove 3/8 of an inch deep, and we're going to cut it right down the center of this. So I set my little router table to cut this groove. I got 3/4 to the center. So we're going to see how it works, see how it goes here. I think it'll be fine. Just bear with me here and we'll see if we can get this thing to cut us a groove. Now I'll be able to take this thing and put it in my saw and chop a 45 in it, which is what we need, and we'll get this thing done up. Okay, there's this groove. Now what I have to put in here is when I get down to the TV, I'm going to have 3 wires and a coaxial wire. So I'm going to try to measure this and see if I need a little bit more one way or the other. It looks to me like I might need a little bit more. Okay, we're going to take one more pass on this, and then that should be good. We'll get her checked out, see what happens. Okay, I think we have 4 wires here, and what I'll probably do is I'll hot glue some of these in spots like I did the fan, and I think I have more than enough room in there for a piece of coaxial wire. It's kind of funny because all this junk in the garage, I don't have a piece of old coax I could lay down in there, but I'm almost certain that there's enough room in there to get that coax down in there. So now what we're going to do is measure this thing out, and we'll start cutting the pieces that we need. And we'll also, before we get it put up in there, we'll countersink our holes on the other side so we could put screws in this, and then we'll be able to take it down and change them wires if we have to, or whatever kind of work we may have to do to that wiring. Okay, now we're going to get all the wood cut, or we're going to put the wires on the ceiling. So, like I said, we got 4 wires here. We'll solder them together and we'll put them inside that piece of board. Then when they come down here, we go down this side, we're only going to have 2 wires when we go down this side, because we're going to hook the fan and that small dome light together. So what we want to do is get our measurement on this. I'm going to put it pretty much, I'll go a little shy off that wall, maybe 1/4 inch from that wall. So that'll make it about 13 3/4 of an inch. 13 3/4. So I'll cut this at 13 3/4 with a 45 here. I'm almost certain we can get them wires around that 45 and come down here to the other side, and we'll get the TV part. So we're going to go ahead and cut this piece first. Okay, we're going to work on our next piece. What we're going to do is we're going to slide our wires up in this board. And that's how they're going to rest on the ceiling. They should all fit inside there. Pretty snug.
find my stuff here. What I want to do is I want to put a square on this thing and make sure it's nice and square. And I have a little pencil. I'm going to make a small mark right over here. Now I can erase that or whatever. And then I'll get a measurement to where I want to go over in the front, which I'm going to take it basically 1/2 inch from that wall. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go 42 1/4. 42 1/4. So we're going to go cut our other piece that will go down this side of the wall, and we'll have a 45 right there. We'll go down that side. Then we're going to countersink some holes in this thing, sand them up, and get them painted. So now when we put these in here, I'll try to hot glue them in there. So it'll hold them into place, or maybe I'll use a staple. But these wires will probably be cut off right there. And when we put that back in there, we should be able to screw this up against the ceiling and have a nice trim board for our wiring. You'll never know that it's in there. I think it'll be fine. We're going to paint them black like we did the trim around the top here. I think it'll be a nice cover for our wiring. So what I'm going to do now is, I know that my TV is going to be mounted on this wall over here, right in there. So I'm going to find the center of this wall, and I'm going to take that router on this long piece. I'll find the center, I'll mark it, and then that's where I'll make another hole out the side of this so that wiring can come out the side. It may end up being a little bit wider than this one, but we'll see what happens. Okay, what we're doing here is we're widening out the corner. We got them wires have to make a 90-degree angle. So what I'm doing is I'm trimming out the inside of these. So when I put my wires around there, I have more of a place to put the wires in. Instead of a real sharp corner, they'll be able to roll around that corner. And I did the same thing for where the TV is. I rolled these out, and what I'll do is should be able to make the corner. Now I made this pretty good, but I might go a little bit wider on this piece here, because I want to make sure my coaxial wire, I got 2 wires and a coaxial wire that has to go through this thing. So we want to make sure that we've got plenty of room before we get these things painted up. Now we're going to drill some holes. We're going to countersink some screws in here. We'll do 2 in the middle, 2 on each end, and we'll do 2 on each end of this. One thing we have to make sure that we don't get any screws that's going to go through our camper. Don't forget, our roof is not that thick. So I'll measure up for some screws, and I want to go at least a 1/4 of an inch into the upper roof. I don't want to go through it, because that would be bad. So we're going to get these countersunk, and we're going to get them sanded up and painted. Okay, we got these sanded down, and we got these holes all countersunk in there. And what we did is we drilled just a countersunk hole, you know, so the screws will be flat on there. And we'll measure out what size screws we need, and then we'll go pick the screws up for it. But we're going to get these things painted up. All of them are done, so we'll get them all painted up and get them looking nice for you. Okay, they turned out pretty nice. We got them all painted up. Now this will be the covering for our wires. Now a lot of these videos have been taking me a long time to do, and this wiring is definitely going to be a little while. So I've been putting them in smaller videos so it doesn't bore you to death. Like I said, we had actually, I'm going to go pick the TV up today, and we're going to be installing on our next video the TV, and I got a 12-volt power outlet and a couple of USB ports we're going to mount in there. That'll be our next video. We ordered the dome light, and it won't be in for a little bit, but we'll get that on video too.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe and leave me thumbs up or thumbs down. And a comment if you'd like. Till next time.